as Jesus was called from a crowd telling him, "Your mother, your brothers and sisters are asking for you," his reply was, "Who are my mother and my brothers? These are the ones who do the will of God." It may come unpleasant, if not offensive, especially if you are a mother or close relatives of Jesus. But this is not to be taken in that context, because for Jesus, a family is more than blood relations. In fact, Jesus radicalizes the meaning of family by telling the people that it's more about doing God's will. And what is God's will? God's will is, first of all, is to create a communion. And when we say communion, it doesn't mean that we are just merely related to each other by blood or by any form of affinity. It is that which binds us together, and that binding of us that creates a community is characterized by, and this is the word that may be so particular to Jesus, intimate relationship. This is what characterizes a true family according to Jesus. And Jesus is correct to say that, because we know of families who are related by blood, but they are not really intimate to each other. They don't care about each other. They do not even know what is happening about each other. And when Jesus tells us that this is God's will to us, first, this God who comes to us is a very intimate God. He goes out of himself to reach out to us. He is the one taking the initiative of having this relationship. And this is what Jesus is showing us. This is what Jesus is showing to people. I am reaching out to you. My mother, my brothers and sisters are reaching out to me. I am reaching out to them. Because this ability of reaching out is motivated precisely by the care and the love I have for the ones I am reaching out to. When we care about people, we take the initiative to reach out. When you don't care about people, will you reach out to them? No. We put barriers, we put walls, so that there is no way we can communicate with each other. And this happens in families. This happens in communities. This happens in workplaces, which is very unfortunate, especially when we claim ourselves to be a family, when we claim to be a community, but you don't see the reality that Jesus wants us to create. The environment is not favorable. We don't see any intimacy. Probably we have a lot more of criticism, more of competition, but if this happens in a family, the family breaks. When you see this in a community, the community breaks. And if we are to recall the words of Jesus when he speaks about yesterday, when he speaks about disunity, this happens only when people do not care about each other. But Chiara Lubick has advice to people who are disunited when she said to this effect, if there is disunity, do not attempt to break. Instead, bend. I like that word. Not to break, but to bend. What does it mean to bend? To bend means to humble ourselves. And before the Lord, to ask for His Spirit so that His love may reign. Because what the Spirit does is to let that love to unite us, to bring us closer to each other, to create that necessary intimacy that will truly define us as a family and as a community. And this should always be our prayer. We always pray for unity. But this prayer for unity will just be a mere words, empty words, if deep inside us we do not have the desire to really reach out and be united with one another. This is what we learn from Jesus Himself. If He tells us, my mother, my brothers and sisters are the ones who do the will of God, and God's will is for all of us to be united in faith and in love.